Hey everyone, how you doing? It's another Sunday evening and it's time to connect. Yep, it's a different kind of episode, different setup, different venue if you like. But it's the second Sunday in August and it's the first Sunday of the third season of Connect, and it's super great to be here. If you're joining me on any of our platforms, I'm looking at the dashboard right now, LinkedIn, YouTube, and of course Facebook. Do send me a message. Let me know you're there. And also, by the way, let me know where you're joining from. So, having said that, let's welcome to this amazing episode of Connect. It's one I've been looking forward to, and it's really one I'm looking forward to enjoying. All right, so let me also quickly say to everyone out there, thank you so much for all the messages. We had such an amazing time. We literally took 2 days last week to have the anniversary episode coming up. There were some technical issues on Sunday, and then we had to do a break and then come back on Monday. We have never done the connect before on Monday. We had to come back on Monday to to run the event. Thank you to all those that send messages, that send the shouts out. Thank you for all the love, the support. Thank you for the very kind words, and of course, extremely importantly, the prayers. I thank you and I thank you. And that's why I give you a personal guarantee that the connect will continue as God will enable us to deliver value Sunday in, Sunday out, and any other day in between that we might find need to connect with you again. So it's great to be here. It's an amazing episode ahead of us, and I can't wait to get to it. All right, so we're starting what I call the Impact series. The Impact series, and one of the things that came through my mind was I wanted to do some series on impact, whereby we look at not just purpose, it's good to have purpose, not just key activities, it's good to have key activities, not just strategy and planning, it's fantastic to have all of that, but to what end? And really, if I believe that if more people, more organizations, more individuals have the end picture in mind, then they will be able to craft out the strategy, the methodology, the mission as to how to be able to attain that end in mind. And so the Impact series was birthed, and this is the first episode. I have an amazing guest that will be joining me, somebody that I think has a story to tell, and the story that you will be more than glad to hear. All right, so I am reaching you live from Auto E Services Limited, and I have the CEO and co-founder joining me in a second. And guess what? Today is different. She's not going to be joining me. My guest today will not be joining me virtually. My guest today will be joining me right here in the studio. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you will, OBY OKEKE. Hey, OBY, how you doing? Yeah, Hi, how are you doing? Okay, so the Impact series it is. I need to put up some stuff here. So, guys, if you're watching, this is super amazing. So, first of all, Obi, it's your first time on the Connect, right? But then again, thank you for the kind words that you sent. Uh, at the anniversary, thank you for celebrating with us. So you've had a bit of an encounter with the Connect, and you watched a few episodes. So let me put you in the hot seat. This is not something you do yourself, and you actually get. So what are your thoughts, and what's your encounter, your experience with the Connect so far?
Well, it's a great time to talk about it. Thank you for having me, Anya. You're doing a great job on the Connect. And I mean, it's amazing that what we are doing to the Impact series. And it's an absolute reflection of what you do. I've been on your show, right? A couple of times, and I've listened to quality of information and knowledge that is being passed on the platform. And I can imagine the level of impact that it's made in the lives of many people, because it has for me too. There's so much I've been able to take in this from different episodes, and truly it's helped me. So, and yes, you're doing a great job touching lives, reaching out to so many people. And I want to say congratulations again on your second anniversary.
Thank you so much. We have quite a bit to talk about today. And I hope everybody can hear me. If you can hear our audio clearly, go ahead and send a message on whatever platform that you're on, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Send a message. Let me know where you're joining from. And also go ahead and share this video so you can have your friends and people on your connect join in as well. And by the way, so I'm going to excuse Obi for 30 seconds. She didn't see this coming. You need to go and share this on your device, your Facebook page. So I'm gonna let her go share that while I come back to everyone. So it's gonna be an amazing episode, like I said. We're looking at the Impact series. We're going to be looking at the great things that are happening here at Auto Ease, and then we're also going to be getting OBY OKEKE's perspective of some of the points of conversation today. We'll be looking at purpose to impact and see how, also have a conversation about purpose to impact plan, which is something I believe is extremely critical for every entity, every person, every organization to have. All right, so if we are, I'm reaching out now to see comments. All right, so everybody so we already have a hello, Auntie Obi in the building. Chemaka, thank you for joining us. Good evening, Auntie Obi and AU. All right, so we're gonna have we'll have OBY OKEKE joining us right now. Right now. Okay, so Obi, you're in an industry that is unique in the sense that you're a woman, and I'm going to play the gender card here. You're a woman, and you lead an organization in the auto servicing, auto maintenance industry. First of all, what has that journey been like before we come to the nitty gritty of the conversation?
Well, it's been exciting. The truth is, it's not an industry that you can usually have money on. In quotes. But then it's been inspiring for me. It's helped me to challenge myself beyond the normal. Be able to think out of the box, drive myself, push myself, and really see beyond the male or female thing. Really, business is beyond that. It's about principles, processes, structures, and systems. And we should have that in place, respect for whatever industry is in. And so it's been a great experience for me. I love what we do. I see it from different perspectives. Dealing with so many people, you have to be able to connect with different people, different foundations, different backgrounds. And it's really exciting when you have to express all levels of emotional intelligence, just be able to get the best out of everybody. And the truth is, at the end of the day, teamwork is the key. So once you get everybody together, understand the vision, get everybody to understand where you're headed and what you want with the organization.
All right, so let me take you back a little bit. This is the impact series. And when you hear the word impact, we'll tie this down back to everything that you do. When you hear the word impact, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Well, for me, it's impact is about what the benefits that people can actually get from what you provide, right? Long run. However, it's much more than that. And besides the benefits, you want to also make the sustainability to provide this you do. So you bring value to the table, you bring solutions to the table that's affecting lives, that's improving lives. You also want to see how much truly it's going to be worthwhile for these people, this community, the environment. And so it must really be something sustainable. It's not just about the short term, looking about the long term. You're also looking at how widespread is this really going to affect? If we're going to affect one life, from one life, what's the ripple effect to other people? For instance, you have a project that trains women. Now, the key objective is to be able to empower these women to bring value to the environment, the community, the society. So it's not just about them. We know that when they empower their family, is taking care of the community, feels the effect.
So hold on a second.
Yes.
Let me jump in. Right. So impact to you is value, sustainable value. So obviously it means that there must be benefits at determine outcomes. Now you just mentioned a project that that you're into, and it has women. Can you tell me, break down the project? There's a question that I have, but I need you to break down the project so we can have that understanding.
Okay, so we have the we have this passion to have women be a part of it, especially because it's not the norm, especially in the side of well in Nigeria. So we said, you know what, we can have more women come into the automotive industry, and the best way is to create a platform. And so
Okay.
we partnered with USADF, and we got in partnership to train about 30 women in the automotive industry. And it's been a great experience. We started out in February, and it's in 6 months down the line. And trust me, these women have really shown that there is no limit to whatever it is you can achieve if you put your heart to it. During the interview sessions, we had a good number of them mentioned that they've always been looking out for platforms like this that would give women, that flexibility, that freedom to be able to express themselves in this industry, and they haven't been able to. And so they're excited about this opportunity and engaged it. Trust me, right now, you see women that are taking on jobs, and it's really very fulfilling and exciting. And I'm so happy that that dream has been birthed, and we see ourselves taking it to the next level.
Okay, so my thoughts is this, or rather my question is, so now you have these women, they've been brought into the automotive industry, and you created a platform. So one of the things I need, everyone out there to know is that, look, if you're going to be able to, because there's a learning curve for everyone, if you're going to be able to make impact, you must first be able to have a system or a platform by which that impact will be made. All right, and that is what you've done. You've had collaborations, you've had partnerships, all right, that is aimed to arrive at an outcome. Now, the question is, how clear is number one, the objective, this outcome that you want, and how is it measured? How do you, because now I'm coming to the concept of purpose to impact plan. There has to be a plan. And if we take this particular project, and what's the name of the project, by the way?
It's the Ultimate Women, Ultimate Women Training.
So the also is women.
AWTM.
All right, great. So what's the purpose to impact plan for this project? Can you share some light on
Okay, the thing is, like I said, this project came from a place of desire to have women engage in this industry, and to create a platform actually which they can access and be able to get all the details, the information, the mentorship, the coaching that we require. Now this has been created. Now for us, we're also looking beyond just training, like that having them come within the system, work with us, get efficient in these trainings, and take it to the next level. Have a couple of them express their intentions to start businesses in this line, to build a career in this line. And so for us, that's a great one. So we look at the long term, we're seeing that within the system, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the line. And we're also creating a mentorship platform where these women can also access information, skill, what the details that they need to take it to the next level. So it's much more than just thinking about it. We intend to sustain it over time and truly see that it turns out very well. And then we also more women coming on this stage.
Yeah, because I was going to ask about that. One of the questions I was going to ask you was, um, how much can you take on? I mean, if you have, how many women do you have in the program at the moment? You have 30 at the moment. If 100 showed up right now.
So we structure them in batches. It's just about organizing, planning it, and ensuring that everything works in. So structure them in batches. I mean, when they're done, they should be graduating sometime this month. And this month, looking at starting from the set women, and we'll just take it that way. The most important thing is you don't have to have so many at the same time, but then little by little, you're making impact, you're improving lives. And at the end of the day, you have a network of these women who are in this industry and they support each other because they're like a strength to each other, a chain to each other, and we just keep building them and taking them to the next
Now,
stage.
the interesting thing is many times we have such programs, and I've seen quite a bit. I've overseen quite a few of them as well. Now, what happens many times is we bring in people, we put them in the program, we build their capacity, and at the end of the tenure, they're done, and they get out there, and there's really no relationship there. So, I guess my question is there some level of mentorship that's embedded in this program? how do you ensure, number two things, two level questions. Number one, is there a mentorship program embedded in this program? Two, beyond skills, beyond capacity, what level of organizational development is there for these women? And what level of business administration? Because they will not only just go and work elsewhere, some of them want to start up their own businesses. And many times what happens is we train people, we give them skills, we teach them stuff, but they don't know how to run a business. So they're good at what they do, but they don't know how to create a system and run it, which is what a business is, and run a system that ensures that they're able to deploy the skill sustainably over time, and you have a cascaded effect of impact. So the two questions: is there a mentorship program in place? And we'll talk a bit about that. And then, is there a business arm to this? Do they learn business beyond just learning the skills or learning, the just building their capacity technically?
Yes, so like I mentioned, it's a training and mentorship program. Right? So 6 months is gone. And we understand that in 6 months, obviously, they cannot be perfect at what they have learned. And so the system is allowing the time of efficiency in what they have learned. So they're still going to be within our facilities, and they're still going to come in, still going through, so it's more like probationary period. They're going to be here with us for the next 3 months. For the good number of them that will show interest in that line, yes. And so we are open to continue the next 3 months of probation so that they are able to build what they have learned over 6 months and then specialize in other areas. And then we are also still open to absorb them for work. So in this period, they get better skills. I mean, after 6 months, you do an extra 2 years with us. Trust me, you'd be obviously very strong at what you do. And at that point, you're able to determine things. Do I want to start my own business? Do I want to just continue as building a career in this? So that's enough time for you to decide what you want to do. But the thing is, you're still within the system. You're open to all of the information, the knowledge, the background, everything that you need to build.
Okay, so another question that I perhaps have, we'll come to the part about well, you pretty much answered the two in one, but we'll expand it a bit. Now, again, I'm going to throw a gender card here, right? So these are women on this particular project. These are women. In their training and in their mentorship, is there consideration? Do you take external factors into consideration in their training? Do you have gender-based or gender-specific kind of training? Vis-a-vis just look, hey, this is the industry. Is either you're able to level up or not. These are the skills that are required. The skills are not gender sensitive. So you're either good at this. Do you factor in the kind of time you have available? Do you factor in other things like external, outside of the four walls of the organization? Do you take that in their training program?
Well, you're dealing with people.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of empathy that you need to also apply to get the best.
Okay.
And then you're understanding that you're dealing with women that have so many things that they need to do. And the goal is to help them through this process, right? So we try to make the whole platform very flexible. Flexible is not using discipline order, but then we factor a lot of things to ensure that they're able to go through this training mentorship program and still be able to be balanced. Like, they have families, children at place, have homes also cater for. So all of these things are factored in because we want the best for them. So we have to make sure that all of these areas are looked at and then we see how to put it together and ensure that they're able to run seamlessly, run the program without pressures, and still be able to run their homes. So it's a balance.
So what was the because here I'm thinking, right? There was a cliche that I used to have a few years ago, doing good while doing good. And that was for businesses. And whilst you're doing good as a business entity, find ways to do good. One of the greatest joy as one of the things I do is I play very heavily in the healthcare financing sector. And one of the joys beyond profit for me is, hey, people who don't know my first, middle, or last name can access cost-effective care, in any part of the country, just because I'm part of a system or a program that delivers a platform for that to happen. And so for me, there's a lot of joy in that. That's what keeps me going over the years. Just knowing that, you know what, I can structure something that has someone in Maiduguri, Nigeria, or Sokoto, Nigeria, accessing care that they ordinarily will not have access if such a program was not available. So now, if we come back to this project that the women program, what was it at the heart of your initial thought? Was it just to get more people into the industry, or was there something that said, "Oh, how can we empower women? How can we make them more economically empowered?" I mean, which is impact, by the way. How do we ensure that more women have access to jobs that they possibly weren't even thinking about before? Because if you do a sample, and we must recognize where we are. If we do a sample and we ask female folks out there, would you? They will have to think about it. Now, it does not mean that the industry doesn't provide a viable career for them, but it wasn't first thought, and that's because of, say, the cultural orientation and the system that we have. Say, for instance, here in Nigeria, all right. And I'm also mindful that we have viewers from all across the world. So, what was the initial driving force for you as a CEO, and more importantly, as a person, that made you say, hey, let's set up a program that will be inclusive of women, create more opportunities for women in the industry? What was that initial driving force for you?
So personally, I'm really passionate about seeing women do very well. I like to see women out there express themselves, challenge themselves, think out of the box, push beyond the limits.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead. I'm just trying to get to the comments as well.
And
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm particular about creating structures and platforms that will give women, these opportunities to do that. It's always been, a passion. And so when this vision came up, right? Especially because it's really very, very, it's not the usual. And I said, you know what? Let's do this. Let's have more women coming. I'm very certain that there'll be a lot of women that will want to be part of this industry because they haven't had a platform, they haven't had anything in place to encourage them. Like you said, Nigeria is not a place where you have women do the kind of work that we do.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's a platform that makes it that doesn't it's not biased about the gender. You have all women coming, which is what we have here. So I mean, our environment, we don't know male below female. So everybody's very at work, and it's very conducive. And the truth is, like you said, the fulfillment really at the end of the day is how the impact has been made in their lives. I had a good number of these women when we had a meeting last week, and I could see the joy in how far they have come from where they were. They had no idea anything concerning the skills here, and right now they can handle jobs to a large extent. And for me, that's the greatest fulfillment. No amount of money. Yes, we do business, but as a business person, you'll take the KPIs in place and all of that. But at the end of the day, what really gives you true fulfillment is the lives that have been impacted, the lives that have touched. That's what really drives you. At the point when you're not sure if you truly want to go through with all of the pressures that come with running the business,
Yeah.
when you think about the lives that are impacted, the lives that are touched, lives that have been transformed, families that have been turned around, light that has come to certain people just because you have created that platform, it pushes you, it drives you to do much more. So that's it. It's much more beyond the business. It's about the lives being touched, the lives being improved. It's about more people benefiting from these platforms. And it's beyond these women, their families, communities, their self-esteem. I've seen a good number of them, the level of confidence they have right now, is what they came here for. So you see them talk with boldness, all of the audacity, you see the esteem in place, you see the joy of being able to achieve something that seems like they've never had. And a couple of them say, I've tried to get involved in these trainings at one point or the other, but I couldn't even handle the finances. I'm so glad that this opportunity came up and I engaged, and it's fulfilling to hear that and to see that at the end of the day we made a difference.
And it's true that you're making a difference, but I also want to take you to the fact that I like what you said about just affecting the lives of people. And what I say many times to people when they speak is when you see people as stakeholders, and a stakeholder is anybody that can affect or what you're doing or you affect what they're doing, then you'll be mindful about how you do with them. So when you see what this does, as you rightly said, in the lives of these women, obviously encourages you to be able to seek for better, more innovative ways to take on more women, like you said, structure them in budgets and stuff. But you also have another program that I particularly like, the one for kids. So this is not about. Tell us about
So it's a junior academy,
Right.
right? So we thought about a way to get young people, especially those that have just freshly finished secondary school,
Yeah.
and create a platform where they can come in and we groom them in skills and much more beyond skills. Also looking at entrepreneurship skills, capacity building, critical thinking, innovation, creativity,
Yeah.
all of these areas, soft skills, etc. And the idea really is to be able to prepare them for the world out there.
Mm.
Um, we understand that a lot of our youth now really don't have what it takes to compete globally. I don't know if it's the systems that have, but then I think it still lies upon us to do something about it in our own little way, which is why we created this platform. And we see it making great impact. Right? I see the big picture already. I see this young minds built, groomed, nurtured for tomorrow. And I can't even wait to see what they'll be like after 6 months, after 3 months.
So hold on a second. You see the big picture,
Yes.
and I'm really glad about it because vision is everything. Right? We've had this conversation from this other vision. What you see determines how you go about it. So the big picture is this kids, right, being empowered mentally, technically, and every other thing around about it. So that means that you have a program that ensures that they're not only learning skills, and I keep saying this because this is my area of passion. They're not only learning skills, they're growing up. They're growing up. Now, how, again, I'm going to ask just as I asked with the women, what's the capacity? How many kids can you take on? For how long do you see this happening? Um, for the women, you've done this for 6 months, right? What do you see 6 years from now? For the
6 years from now.
what do you see 6 years from now? So it's been 6 months. 6 years from now, what do you see? 10 years from now, what exactly do you see? Do you have? Is it more beyond a desire? Is there a plan beyond say because there's nothing wrong with you having an intervention plan for 2 years. It could just be what your picture is. But if it's sustainable, then it has something within those first 2 years has to be able to generate into something in the next 2, next 4, next 6, and next 8. So for the kids program and for the women program, um, what exactly do you see in say 10 years from now? Is this still something you want to push, or do you see this just having a short time frame and then move on to other things?
The thing is,
And I'll tell you why I'm asking that. But go
all
ahead.
right, the thing is, it's beyond just training short term. We're looking at creating an institution,
Mm.
training institution, really. That
Mm.
role that is to handle women, young minds, the academy at large, everything that has to do with pattern skills, capacity building. So it's technical, mental, everything. So it's not just a short term. So it's going to be an institution. We intend to truly structure it well, which we have already begun. Absolutely. So 6 years, 10 years from now, we see a well-structured organization, a training institute that is well structured to handle women. We have, of course, we have modules. We have all of this in place already, but then we're taking it to the next level. We're taking it to the next level. It's going to be run differently from the business that we have. So that's going to be the academy on, and then we still have the automotive industry running. Because we're not just going to be doing training in skills, we're handling all other areas, which is very important. Because I always say, you teach someone how to give someone a skill, but then if they don't know how to manage a skill and transform it to wealth, then it's almost like nothing. So they must understand the basics, the principles, the foundation.
Actually, I don't even think it's almost like nothing. I think it's real frustrating because when you didn't have the skill, then you weren't thinking of turning anything to wealth, but you get the skill and then you're wondering why you're not converting it to wealth, and it's frustrating. And once it's frustrating, it's like a vicious cycle, right? So I actually think it's worse off, which is why I'm always very key because look, this is what happens with say government. And and I'll say this, right? Government guys can come for me. It's all good. This is why I say many times. We set up stuff, we train people, we teach people, we do all sorts of empowerment programs, give them all sorts of equipment, and 1 year down the line, 6 months down the line, you can't find any of those guys because they never learned how to run a business. So that means that the impact of the program was lost.
Sure, which is why that mentorship platform is really very important. It always has to come alongside the training. You need to follow up. You need to ensure that what you have put in these people, you need to nurture it. It's just like a baby. Baby is born, baby needs to be nurtured, needs to be raised, has to be grown, followed up. And that's the way it is with skills. So if you do not follow up that way, if you do not keep that time for mentorship, for nurturing, the mistakes are made, and then corrections and all of that takes place, you really cannot get the best out of the process, which at the end of the day is almost like the best venture, which is not what we want at times.
This can be from it's certainly most likely can be from us. It's a book of comfort. So when we look at the Kiddies program, right, which is more challenging, the program for the kids or the program for the women?
Well, both of them are unique in their own ways, right? So, for the children, they're young minds, right? So, you're handling them is totally different. The way you reach out to them is absolutely different.
Or rather, what's the greatest challenge with the kids program, and what has been the greatest challenge with the women program?
Okay, for the women, because there's so much that's going on around them. So, because women really need to be encouraged at times. There's always that tendency to want to give up on yourself, to want to like draw back. But then when they are encouraged, when they are encouragement, that's it. I won't use the word pushed, but no room for excuses.
Okay, so let's talk a bit about encouragement.
Yes.
Because I was curious. When you said encouragement, I was saying to myself, what exactly does that mean? As in, how do you encourage them to you? How do you encourage them?
Okay, this is it, right? This industry is not really, it's not something women really want to engage in most of the time. And so,
at first,
right? And then, so like when we started the training, believe me, in the first 2-3 weeks, a couple of them were not sure they could go through this. They were like, I had feedback like, madam, I don't know if this is something I can handle. Exactly. But then a lot of pep talks, like I said, encouragement. Okay, so what do you think we can do to make it easier for you? How do you think we can restructure to help you? All of this is just to help them pass through that first phase. Because the truth is, once they got like 3 months, 4 months, everybody was running similar.
So the nonsense stage was difficult for a lot of them. It was really difficult for
us. But then as time continued to progress, they were able to find a way around this and connect the whole process, and were able to find ways to adapt and endure.
I'm curious though. This nascent stage, right? And I'm really curious about this. The nascent stage, was it just a function of the industry or just new learning? I'm trying to understand. Or mix of
Yes,
both.
yes, it's
Okay.
both because what we do is not
Mm.
it requires a lot of energy, endurance, experience. But the thing is, the moment you get into it and you put your heart to it, you begin to find interest, gain interest. And once you gain interest, you want to continue, you want to go to the next level, you want to go to the next phase, and on and on. And so, before you know it, you see yourself truly enjoying the whole process, looking forward to the next level, but because you can see it playing out, right? So, it's a combination of both. It's just human. You get into something that's new and that's not
It's a
so
bit
easy, it gets a
challenging.
bit challenging,
So
and then the tendency to want to draw back is
it's
there.
there.
But then if you're encouraged and you get all the support that you psychologically, emotionally, and all of that, they good to go. And I'm so glad 6 months down the line, and they all come through the process. They still stand, and they still want to continue in the process of mentorship, probational period. A good number of them also want to join the workforce over time,
Yeah.
and we're open to that. I mean, the platform is open to that. We really want to see women do well. We want to see them take it to the next level. It's the dream
Okay, so that's for the women.
for the
For
women.
the kids.
Okay, for the kids. Well, we're starting out with 20.
Mm.
And the thing is, we structure such that we run 6 months, run a 3 months program, depending on what works for them. Because in as much as they're running this program, we also understand that they also have to continue with education. The idea is to be able to bridge that gap between secondary school and getting into higher institution. So we've also structured that in that way. With 6 months plan, with 3 months plan, right? But whatever it is, you're doing 3 months, doing 3 months of intensive, 6 months, 6 months of intensive. You get 3 months of solid information to take to the next step. 6 months solid information to take to the next step. For the young ones, I mean, the assessments and all that, we could see that it's truly that desire to be a part of the group, and excited about it. And
Because the novel is new
yes,
and
exactly.
then it's not commonplace.
And yes, and the truth is, for young people, once you're able to engage their energy in the right path, you get the best of them because they are out to really explore. And so it's important that you give them the right platform to explore. So that's the idea. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so now if you have, say you have a kids program is running, and this is running at the same time that the women program is running, the entire process cannot be cheap. So, I mean, how is this funded? Because someone out there is probably saying, okay, I can get my organization to do this, but wait a minute, hold on. When am I going to be able to deploy learning facilities for a bunch of people? How am I going to keep this? How am I going to sustain that? How can we build this? So, what's the funding model?
Because it's about partnerships and collaborations. We have a lot of organizations that are interested in seeing this kind of project in go through. And so it's about connecting with these platforms, organizations, collaborating, partnering with them, like USAID, right, and the rest, USAID, the rest of them. A good number of them that want to be a part of this kind of project because they're innovative, they improve lives, they impact. So that's it. Besides whatever it is we'll do on our own, but then collaboration is key to growth. So
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Because I remember there was one time, right? We had a bit of partnership with organizations. There was a project that I was overseeing a few years ago, and basically, apart from getting, say, international funding agencies and all of that, we're also looking at organizations that wanted to inculcate this as, say, corporate social responsibility. Is that something that you looked at? Organizations that would say, I want to be able to sponsor 20 people, want to be able to sponsor 10 people. Is that a sustainable model for this project that you're talking about?
well, it's also an area that we're looking at. Yes, so we're not restricted to anything. We are open to all the collaborations, all of the organizations that will want to be a part of this kind of program, CSR. And as a body too, so we also have a part of social responsibility, which is also part of what we do. Occasionally, yes. So we fund these projects to a large extent because it's part of our way to give back to society, especially for the young minds that we're taking in. So yes, we're open to all sorts that will work to ensure that we work the dream and we take it to the next level, not sure it
Okay, so let's step back a bit from from your business and the key activity and come to talking about impact generally. So now I'm not speaking to OBY as CEO of also East, I'm speaking to OBY as OBY. There's a lot that's obviously wrong with the society. Too many people either do not have vision or are not guided right. Too many people also have aspirations and dreams, but do not have the wherewithal to be able to say have this come to fruition. And in many ways, let's not just coin it and say that impact is positive only. There are ways that impact is also negative, which means that an impact is the outcome of influence. So you have an activity, you have influence, and then the outcome, the consequence of the influence is either positive impact or negative impact. And if we're looking at influence, influence is the primary key to leadership. So we've circled to taking this conversation to leadership. Now, this is a discourse we're going to have over the next few minutes. When you look at leadership, what's your if there was going to be a textbook, an OBY OKEKE definition of leadership, and we're supposed to frame it and put it on the wall, what will it be? What's leadership to you?
Leadership is about creating a blueprint that is connected to your purpose. Can you lead, you have to lead people from a place of understanding what you really want out of the process. And it comes from you understanding why am I here? What do I want to achieve as a person? What's my goal as a person? Where do I see myself, the business, all that has to do with me for the next 5 years, the next 10 years. And with that in mind, you're able to connect people with this. Truth is, if you don't understand where you are going, you truly can't lead it.
True.
So you can't even influence anything. You need to have clear understanding of who you are, what you want out of life, what you intend to achieve from life. And then you'll be able to express it, and people will be able to see that you know where you're going. So what I'm saying in essence is leading people is about creating a path. And that path has to be clear. It's more like a vision. This is where I'm going. And they must trust that you know where you're going and be able to follow.
So leading people, creating a path, you have a clear vision. As I always like to say, the clarity of your vision will determine how well you go on your journey. So what has been your greatest leadership challenge?
Well, um, how to deal with different people, different foundations, um, different perceptions. And the thing is, you need to be able to connect all of this. You need to be able to understand all of this to be able to reach out to people and get the best. You really can't impose. You must always come from a place of understanding them to be able to connect with them and then get them to understand the path you are trying to, align them on. So it's a lot of emotional intelligence that you put into place, empathy, and at the end of the day, when you're able to do all of this together, you're able to get the best out of people. And you take it to the next level.
One of our guests, right, that was here on the show a few years ago. You want to get your phone? Her phone is ringing. Her phone is ringing live. So you want to deal with the phone. So her phone is ringing whilst we're like, okay. All right. So I was saying, right, in regards to what you were saying, one of the guests that we had on the show sometime early in the year, Mr. Sojoy Aoye, and big shout out to you, sir. There was something he said in regards to leadership, and I'm going to tie out leadership to impact. Right? He said that look, leading people always comes with challenges. Well, he has the 3H model, and you tell me what you think about it. He says that first of all, you have to get into their heart. And when you get into their heart, and get into their heart means that you have to emotionally connect with them, even in the workplace. You have to connect with them, as in see them as a person, understand their needs, understand where they're coming from. Even before you legislate, you try to understand what makes them up, what makes them tick, why they are the way they are, and all of that. And then it says that after you've gotten into their heart, you can now qualify to get into their head. Or rather, should it be head first? Yeah, head first. Then they give you their heart. So the head, the heart, and then after you're done with the head and the heart, they will give you their hands. And their hands is productivity. Their hands is commitment. Their hands is showing up as they show, then doing as they should. Their hands is carrying the vision and running with it. One of the ways that I've also understood leadership over the years is being able to show, share a vision with the people so clearly that they bring their best to the table to achieve that vision. So now, when I take that and I marry to what you said about your greatest challenge, that doesn't that mean that isn't that like an ongoing challenge? We'll always have people. We'll always have people come from diverse backgrounds, having diverse mindsets, different skills and attributes, attitude, emotional intelligence, and all of that, self-awareness or the lack thereof. So, how do you manage these challenges, knowing that it's a forever thing?
I would not. Well, that's why I don't want to see it as a challenge. It's part of the process.
Great.
It's part of the process.
Yeah, because I like that better. I like that better. It has to be part of
the
the
word
process.
challenge makes it look like a problem. It's not a problem. Dealing with people is something that's endless. It will never end. Even your children at home, you have to deal with them every day. It comes with all of its uniqueness. So the word challenge cannot just be the best word. So it's one of those things that we'd have to face as a leader. So the most funny thing is to be able to build yourself, to be able to handle all of these areas, the skills that require communication, like I said, emotional intelligence, being able to reach out and understand, get the best out of people, be able to connect with them, make them feel part of the system, to be able to give themselves wholeheartedly. That's also using the word challenge, I guess that's when it makes it look like it's a problem. It's not a problem. It's just one of those things that we have to deal with.
So if that's a process, right? I mean, there has to be challenges with leadership. I mean, so if I take that and I put that under process and I put you in the hot seat, if I put that under process, what then would you consider as a challenge in leadership? And with your leadership journey?
Well, there's so much that has to do. Um, I said you wouldn't call that a challenge. Doesn't mean it's not part of what you have to face. But then, if you have to always look at it as something you have to pay so much attention to, put all of the energy to, then it's it takes so much energy from you. The thing is, understanding the living mistake, finding a way around it, making the best out of it, and ensuring that at the end of the day, you're able to get the best out of your team, of your workforce, of people, irrespective of all of these things that you see. And so it's not being a leader, the skills that you have to build, you have to improve.
Absolutely.
Yes. So I wouldn't say it's not it doesn't create pressures. It does, yes. But
Expectedly, right?
exactly, yes. But how you
How
decide
you
to
deal
look at
with
it
it,
is what
your
matters.
perspective of it is
Yes,
what
it's
matters.
matters. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So now I talked about three H's earlier. So let's come to three M's. They're my favorites. And then you tell me how you can fit that into your leadership story. So you have three M's. You have management, you have mentoring, and you have modeling. So if I asked you to talk about that in your leadership journey, which leading to impact, how would you tell me a story about that? Management, mentoring, modeling.
It starts with more than you. Once if I'm going to follow a path or set a path or set or create a vision, I want it to start from you. So as a leader, it's important that you reflect that vision on you. Right? You can't expect what you're not. You cannot give what you don't have. And so that's why it's important that we model that to our team, to our workforce, so that it's clear that they understand that this is the path that you intend to follow. And because you are disciplined in following that path, everybody seems to fall in with that. And then it connects to management and mentorship. Right. So you have you as a leader, you have role management and you also a mentor. And so you're building and then you're also nurturing and you're growing. And as you do that, it also reflects in the way that you model all these things. Because you have a lot of I want to play let's make it practical, right? And how
All
it
right.
works, right?
Okay.
And we have sessions, we have training sessions, we have brainstorming sessions, we have times when we come together, we talk about the ways to take things forward, process improvements, etc., etc.
Mhm.
Now, all of this comes under the management, right? And then part of the mentoring processes. But then we also try to, as the leadership of this organization, we also want to model all of this in character, capacity building, self improvements, etc. And so that's basically the summary.
So I like the way you put it together.
Yeah.
You say so let's play a game. We're almost done. But let's play a game. Right? You ready? All right. You have no idea what this is. You have no idea what we're going to do. So we're gonna play a game. So with respect to impact, right? Purpose to impact. I'm gonna call out the 26 alphabets. Right, 26 alphabets. I'm gonna call out one alphabet, any alphabet, and then you're gonna take a word that's key in the entire purpose to impact story. Are you ready? So you don't have time. And for everybody out there, begin to suggest letters for how to begin to speak on. All right, begin to suggest letters for how to speak on. So so it's simple. For example, I can give you an example. If I say A, for instance, you look for a word, a keyword, all right, that's relevant to the entire discussion of purpose to impact. And then you talk about it for about 30 seconds or so. So it has to be relevant. It has to, if I say C, for instance, and I'm already knocking that out, so you can't use it. If I say C, you have to say, well, your vision has to be very clear for you to know just how to go about making impact. All right. So I can give you other examples, but I don't want to leave you on too much. So, are you ready?
I hope so.
I hope so. All right. Okay. So let's start with S.
Hmm.
It's not a word. S.
Hmm.
And like I said, is not a word.
Okay, so S. And Nekan. I don't think I like this
You have to like it in your life. You have to like it.
one.
Okay, so let me help you with that.
Please.
I mean, what the outcome has to be sustainable. Sustainability. All right. All right. So that's it. That's it. It's not S. No. That's it. You still have a few more to go. We still have a few more to go. So let me see, guys. Send me letters. Send me letters. I'm reading. I'm looking at the comment section right now. Send me letters. It is a setup. Send me letters and B. And I can start with A, not B. So letter B.
Well,
Well starts with W.
well, benefit.
Benefits. Right,
Yes.
so
So, so whatever impact that you putting out there must truly be of benefit. And when I say benefit, not just to the individuals, we're looking at the ripple effect. Yeah, the ripple effect.
awesome. So one more to go.
I'm done.
One
I'm done, Anyaka.
more to go.
I'm done,
One more to
Anyaka.
go. No, guys, she has to do one more. Okay, so I have E. Final one, E.
E.
Yeah.
For excellence.
Okay.
Excellence. Is there anything that we want to do or that we engage in that we shouldn't apply high level of excellence? No matter what it is, it should be expressed in the highest level of professionality, integrity, the rule of law, and all that to ensure that you're truly running a structured process that can be accountable over time. So yes.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Well done. Well done. See, you did it. You did it. All right, so we've come to the top of the hour, and I'm just gonna give you an opportunity to share your final thoughts on the conversation we had today on impact and your closing remarks. So, go ahead.
Okay, so I just want to say that it's really not on the large things that we might always have in our minds to do. The little things really count at the end of the day, no matter how small. To one person, to people, 5 people, 10 people. And each and every one of us, you know, in our own spheres of influence and our areas of work, um, of activities, we in our own little ways try to create a change, create platforms to transform lives. Put all together, it will truly make that great impact that we look forward to. So at the end of the day, that's the fulfillment. It's not so much about how much we make, but the lives that have been touched over time. And when we look back, what really gives us true joy is see that someone was able to find their feet because she created that platform. Someone was able to, engage in their dreams because she created a platform. Someone was able to find, the light or to find themselves truly because you created that platform. It's the best feeling ever. No amount of money can suffice. So I just want to say, let's all, in our own little ways, do something, no matter how small, but then from a place of purpose so that we can sustain.
Amazing. So do it from a place of purpose so it can be sustained. I want to thank you, Abby, for
And
coming and connecting. It's your first time we connected. We certainly hope we can have you over and over again as schedule permits. And also thank you for opening up the series, the Impact series, and being the first episode of the third year of the Connect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, guys. So we're going to be logging off now. I'm going to be looking at some of your comments. Next week, we're going to be going deeper into the conversation in regards to the Impact series, and we'll be focusing more on personal development, connecting the dots between purpose and impact. And next week, we'll be focusing on personal development and everything in between and in betwixt it. You don't want to miss that one. It's going to be really impactful, just as today was. And I want to thank you for joining us. So we're going to be looking at some of the comments soon and bringing up the comments on the screen in no particular order. All right. So now we have from Chairmaka. Chairmaka, thank you for sending this. The little things count. Yes, I believe so as well. And as said by Obi, we need to create platforms that will effect change in the lives of others, engage others in ways they could achieve their dream, do something sustainable. Thanks, Auntie Obi. Thank you so much, Shamaka. Yeah, like I always say, I learned many years ago, as I heard very clearly, that there are three things that I am: light, a voice, and a bridge. And if you think about it, I don't have the time to break it down. I mean, it's something that I say over and over again. If you think about it carefully, you will understand that all these have to do with impact, whether it's light and illumination and knowledge and understanding, whether it's a voice, guidance, whether it's a bridge connecting, taking people from where they are to the possibilities of their potentials. It has to do with impact. So, in doing it every day, in doing something, no matter how small, as long as it helps move somebody forward, as long as it has an effect on someone that possibly releases them to their greatness, positions them, gives them an advantage. Or, like I like to say, make sure that everything that you do gives an advantage to the people that will be affected by it, not a disadvantage. And like Obi said, let it be from a place of purpose, because that's what gives you the necessary equipment for you to be able to sustain it. And that's absolutely, absolutely key. I'm looking at all the comments here. We'll just take a few, quite a number of comments. We'll just take a few comments, and then we'll be done for today. It's the top of our. Again, this says clear understanding of who you are and what you have, vision and clarity. You don't even want to get me to start on that tonight. So, all right, absolutely so, absolutely so. Maybe perhaps it take just one more, and then we'll be out of your face. Okay, so my brother and my friend Obi Jugu, thank you so much. Obi Jugu says great conversation, fantastic conversation actually, amazing conversation. So guys, that's it for today. Thank you for joining us in the first episode of the third year of the Connect, the Impact series. We'll be back next week. Round of applause for OBY OKEKE. Thank you so much for being an amazing guest, and we'll catch you guys. Watch out for details as regards our next episode. Share this video, get as many people as you can to log in next Sunday. And until then, let's keep them connected. Good night, everyone.